you're not prepared because your business is not been set up for having those challenges come at you. So, there's a lot of those discussions with our bookkeepers at the moment, or all year really, about things that are happening to them, and they've just got to walk away. They've just got to step away, and they just can't handle it. It's too stressful. Mental health. Yeah, it's a big issue for us in our industry.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. I am your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a yearly fantastic one. First off, I hope you're having a terrific holiday season so far. I say it every year. I can't believe that 2024 is nearly done and 2025 is almost here. I mean, by 2025, I figured we'd be around, flying around in spaceships, but almost. We're almost there. Regardless, we have a special episode for you. It's our year in review show, and it features an exceptional group of guests, including Lisa Campbell, our international director of the Successful Bookkeeper Global, Katrina Ersman, a longtime Pure Bookkeeping collaborator, Florida Virtual Bookkeeper founder and American Pure Bookkeeping licensee Jessica Fox, and Financely co-founder and Canadian Pure Bookkeeping licensee Teresa Slack. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Hi, Michael. Great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, and it's always great to have you back at this episode and to chat about the year. And it seems like yesterday, as I said in the intro, seems like yesterday. So let's start off with, we could say this question, I've already answered it, which is the biggest surprise of 2024. And I'll just say the biggest surprise is how fast the year goes every year, and it seems to get faster every year. But what has been your biggest surprise in 2024? Who'd like to go?
I have one, and it's different from my answering any year that I've been joining this in review episode. And that is this change in our relationship of us bookkeepers and accountants with the largest software provider into it, QuickBooks. They've made quite a few changes to how they market, to how they communicate, to how they treat the advisor community. Some are not necessarily positive, though we can always find a positive spin on it all.
Oh, very interesting. Interesting. And what specifically, what has been one of the most surprising changes of those changes that you've seen?
Two things come to mind. Number one, they've changed how they talked about our clients. Now they talked about our shared clients. And they said, we now share this client, we will market to them. And there's nothing that you can do or say about that. Also, especially affecting tax preparers, at least in the United States, I don't know if they've done this in other countries, there was this very controversial TV campaign where they were essentially encouraging business owners to fire their accountants and go into QuickBooks and TurboTax, and they would charge less than what their tax preparers charged last year. After a lot of backlash, they eliminated the TV commercials, not until after they had gotten plenty of airtime. There was a very, it didn't feel very heartfelt apology. It was more of a, yeah, we understand we pissed you off, oops. But they are still, in a more subdued way, openly competing with independent tax preparers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Bold
it's a big
moves.
change.
Bold moves. Well, that is a big surprise, and not so big of a surprise. Big incumbents being like the Goliaths that they are. Other surprises.
Sure, I can. First, I would say I agree, Jessica, and maybe we shouldn't have been surprised, but I'm always believing the best in people around me. Maybe that's my personality. I'm not cynical yet. I always believe, and then I'm always disappointed when they do things like this. You're right, Michael. We should have expected it, but I was shocked.
Yes.
But I would say, for me, a couple of things. One was we won a couple of awards in the US for the second year in a row. Now, that's very surprising because we're Canadian and, you don't think that you have a bigger reach. So that was quite surprising to win 2 different awards, both in the US. And then I would say, from a business perspective, one of the biggest surprises for us with our specialty in e-commerce, and maybe again, it's those rose-colored glasses that I seem to wear. I really thought that 2024, the supply chain issues that all of our clients have been experiencing through COVID, I really thought they would have bounced back by 2024. I really thought that, okay, this is the year we'll start seeing things moving the way they should have been, but it didn't happen. Those issues for my e-com clients have continued and sometimes even gotten worse over 2024. And that was very surprising to me. I really thought it was going to go the other way and things were going to get easier, at least in that perspective for our clients.
Interesting. So these are issues with how their business runs or the marketplace? What specifically?
It's the supply chain of product, getting the complexities of getting the product to themselves so that they can sell them. There was major issues through COVID. Of course, you couldn't get products. One piece of the supply chain would not be working, and then another piece wouldn't be working, and it ended up with clients not being able to get the products they needed to fulfill client orders. And, a number of our clients really struggled and their finances dropped dramatically. Their revenue was seriously impacted. And I went into 2024 starting to see things getting better and then seeing it turn around again, where they're back in that issue of not being able to get what they need to satisfy their clients. And that is incredibly frustrating and hard for a business owner.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. And also one of the powers of being so focused in a specific area of e-commerce, in your case, being able to know and have a real intelligence around what's going on in that industry. So thank you for that one. Surprises. Any other surprises for 2024 from either yourself, Lisa, or Katrina?
I don't have any surprises that I can think of.
It's all just a big surprise every day, isn't it?
Life's a surprise.
It is. Yeah. It is. Well, what about setbacks? 2024. We always have a little segment here where we go like, what was the setback for you, either personally or in your business, in the industry? Love to hear those.
I can talk about that. It actually was a surprise, but it wasn't a good one. So we'll call it a setback. And it's definitely personal. So in January of 2024, kicking off the year, right? My partner had a stroke. So we had to shift everything. And it was like primary care, treatments, hospital, therapies, that sort of thing. And we were starting to come out of that. And then my oldest son, who's 24, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So into chemo, into radiation, and just go, nonstop appointments. So it was a setback. However, not as much as one would think, because I had the same thing in 2022 when I was going through breast cancer treatment. You really learn how well your business is built out when you have to step away, when you have to drop everything. Maybe you take a laptop because you've got to have a few meetings. But in general, the way you build it out truly does free you up for when life hits you sideways like that.
Most definitely. My heart goes out to you, your family. I mean, those are very serious things to happen, and always a reminder, like you say, having the systems and processes in place, having your business built for those sorts of things. We talk about it all the time on this podcast, and it's always the silver lining in those events that happen. But certainly, I know personally that things are getting better for your family, and so we're happy about that. We'll get back to the interview right after this word from our sponsor. As a solo accountant or bookkeeper, your business is your livelihood. But have you ever wondered what would happen if life threw you a curveball? What if you couldn't work tomorrow? Who would step in to manage your clients and keep your income flowing? That's where succession security comes in. Think of it as insurance that pays out in labor. If an unexpected emergency strikes, whether it's an illness, accident, or even a family crisis, Succession Security ensures your business keeps running. They step in to manage operations, communicate with clients, and protect everything you've built. Don't leave your business to chance. Be proactive and safeguard your future. Learn more and start your business continuity plan today at successionsecurity.com, because when life happens, your business shouldn't stop. Succession Security, your partner in peace of mind. Thank you for hearing from our sponsor. Now let's get back to the interview. Setbacks, other setbacks.
Yeah, I can talk into that exact setback as well. We're finding a lot of our licensees, our bookkeepers, that are not spending enough time on their own business, that they are feeling that overwhelm, and that they're just out of control, and they're losing control of their business, and they're wanting to step away from their business. So it's the setback for some of our bookkeepers are that they're not putting that time and energy in place right now to actually prepare their business to get through some of these harder times when health is an effect, and family relationships and all sorts of things that life throws at you. You're not prepared because your business is not being set up for having those challenges come at you. So, there's a lot of those discussions with our bookkeepers at the moment, or all year really, about things that are happening to them, and they've just got to walk away. They've just got to step away, and they just can't handle it. It's too stressful. Mental health. It's a big issue for us in our industry.
Most definitely. The world is not getting less complex. It's only getting more complex. So you stack that on year after year after year. It's like the complexity, inflation, new regulations, new ways of doing business. And if you want to grow your business, you need a business that can fulfill on the business each and every day, regardless of the owner. Otherwise, it's a job. It's a job that when you remove the person doing the work, the business collapses, and it can't continue on. And we talk about systems all the time, and always have and will in the future, the importance of working on your business and getting those things in place. Setbacks, Teresa or Jessica?
I can go. It's interesting what you said, Katrina, because I was just running around table 2 hours ago with a bunch of bookkeepers. And that's what they were saying. They're like, how can I find the time to work on my business when this client needs this and this one needs this? And I just keep not doing it. And we had a whole conversation around how you need to put yourself first. It's kind of like that, that when you're on an airplane, put your own oxygen mask on first, then help other people. So, trying to give them strategies on how can they carve out that time to really focus on their business. And I shared with them how we had done it when we joined Pure Bookkeeping. And what we did is on Fridays, the Friday call at noon, we told all of our clients Financially closes at noon on Fridays. And we'd start that afternoon with the Pure Friday call. And then from 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, I guess, to the end of the day after that call was all on the business. And all our clients knew we were closed. So they weren't expecting answers. And that is what we did. And that's what I recommended. Try and find a time where it's not going to get pulled into other things, right? So they do need that, and they are struggling. That's exactly what they were all saying. That overwhelm is very real.
This reminds me, Michael, of the conversation you and I were having earlier about people not understanding that until they're living it. Mm. And we want people to not have to live that, right? Let's get this set up. And so, Teresa, you're right. That whole dedicating the time is crucial, because if your business is running smooth right now, that's fine, but something's going to go sideways and you're going to be, putting out fires. And it's so, so important for everybody who's building up a business to just dedicate that time and make it happen.
So true. And, it's no different in any area of life. It's not like you get better health by not doing anything about it. You go to the gym, go for a walk. It's a block of time where you go work on whatever it is that you're going to work on. You work on your relationship. You're going to go spend time with somebody or a group or something like that. So it's putting those things in, and one other piece along with Teresa is finding that block wherever that block works, and it might be cutting a block that doesn't exist, which means like I stay up later or I get up earlier or I work on a weekend. It is a sacrifice for improvement, and that's just the only way that it's going to get done is to grab that time and to do something about it.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing those. Jessica, any setback that you want to share about 2024?
On a similar note to what's been discussed so far, the one setback that I had, and I consider it a positive thing because as we've been talking, we need to invest the time in our business. I've been highly systematized for a very long time, but as I have been working in 2024 in a detailed succession plan, it means that not just the bookkeeping has to be systematized, every cog of the wheel of the machine of the businesses. And I was so proud of myself that everything was documented. But the rude awakening that I had this year was that I didn't keep up with updating it as efficiency improvements came around, perhaps new tools replaced old tools. And it led to having to make the conscious decision to consciously limit some growth, not all of it, just so that I will have the time to invest in making sure that I have that robust plan. It was painful, and it came at the same time that Pure Bookkeeping revamped and I was learning and implementing version 2.0, but it was good to get it all done at the same time because now I have that peace of mind that if something happens to me or something happens to my family that I need to step away from the business, the systems are up to date and the documentation and the videos now match what the reality is.
Oh, beautiful.
It's beautiful.
That's fantastic. So that definitely has a silver lining, the setback to doing something about it, getting it done. Well, let's move into something more heartwarming, which is a story of client success or how clients have thanked you in 2024. I always love hearing how you're all making a difference out there.
I can jump in
Yes.
on that.
Okay, well, Teresa had her hand up
Go
first.
ahead.
So
Oh, you have a hand up? Okay, I didn't see that. Go for it.
Hey,
I'm
that's
kidding.
totally fine.
I love when
Go ahead.
people are like,
Go
I
ahead,
have to
Teresa.
moderate here. This is great.
We will cover them all, I'm sure. It's important. Yeah, I just thought I'd share a story of, it's kind of a mix of heartbreak and heartwarming because we had this e-commerce client. She came to us towards the beginning of last year. And when she came to us, she said, I have a bookkeeper, but something's not right. These numbers don't make sense. And at that time, she said, it looks like I owe over $300,000 in income tax. And that doesn't feel right. And I've been saving, but I don't have enough. And she was in tears. So we did what we do, which is a diagnostic. We discovered that wonderful bookkeeper, unfortunately, did not have the experience in e-commerce and had truly made some major, massively large mistakes that led to it looking like she owed massive amounts of tax. And I could go into the details, but we don't have to. We fixed it for her. We cleaned up what had happened. All the sales had been triple. They were in 3 times. That's why her revenue looked huge. So her net profit looked huge and it wasn't lining up. So we fixed it all for her. And in the end, at the end of the year, she owed about $75,000 in tax. And the really good news is she'd been saving all year because the bookkeeper had been doing this. So she had about, I think it was about 160,000 that she put away. And when we were able to come to her and say, hey, guess what? She now had this chunk of money that she was able to invest back into her business, which allowed her to really move forward. She hired a person that she really needed. She invested in some tools and it set her up so that her revenue just started climbing. And we know 2025, she's just going to keep soaring. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
She started out in a lot of fear, but we were able to really turn it around. And there were tears. She kept saying, if I could hug you through the computer, she would hug us. And, just to know that we can have that kind of an impact on our clients and really make things better for them. It's very heartwarming for us. It's kind of why we do what we do, when we can help them.
That's why the emoji was invented. Amazing. I absolutely love that story. Both the side, both sides of it, right? The value of having a great bookkeeper, and then the outcomes that when you get with someone who knows what they're doing, the difference that it can make. And fortunately, it ended quite well for her. Lisa, you had one to share.
I do. That's an awesome story, Teresa. I love that. And you're right. It's getting to a position where you can actually help them. You're not just bogged down with everything else, right? So the thank yous this year, I've got to say, and I'm not bragging, I'm actually truly appreciative of it. I have received more cards and gifts this year than any year from the bookkeepers that I work with. And it's very humbling. I keep them all. I read them occasionally, go back to them, that sort of thing. But I've got to point out one person in particular actually took the time. She's in my mastermind program, and she actually took the time on one of our weekly calls in front of the group to thank me. And I was like, wow, you did the work. And I'll tell you what she was thanking me for. She was about to start implementing Pure Bookkeeping System with Pure Workflow, and she has a team of 4. She had 70 clients to get into the system, and she was overwhelmed and stressed, thinking, this is so much work. What am I going to do? Of course, systemizing is work, right? But when you have a client load like that, it's a lot of work. And she went back and forth. We had a couple Zoom meetings, and she was ready to give up. And I'm like, no, you can't give up. This is exactly what you need. And she came on the call to thank me because all 70 clients are in. Her team is now using the updated templates, and they're rocking and rolling with it. And, yes, I helped her, but I was super proud of her because she did the work. She didn't give up.
Wow. I love that. And that is a lot of work. And it comes right back to that. Got to do something different. You got to block out the time. You got to pull that time from somewhere. She didn't just have the time sitting around waiting to be spent on putting 70 clients into a systemized process. Lovely. Jessica, Katrina, a heartwarming story of 2024.
I have one. So I have a nonprofit client that came to me in the middle of 2023. They had declining revenues. They were hardly fundraising. They were losing funding. Their net assets were around 20,000. Essentially, they were minuscule and dying. And after a period of rescue and recovery, we got things on track. They got the tools that they needed to apply for new funding. And I was shocked last month when the entire board wanted to meet with me. And I'm like, oh gosh, what is wrong? Is something happening? That it was just the board that wanted to thank me because they were blown away that in 12 months, they went from just about 20,000 in net revenue to 1.1 million.
Nice.
And now the grants are rolling in, and they have the financials to show the donors, yes, we are good custodians of the money, and this is what is being spent on, and these are the results that we're getting.
Beautiful. Absolutely love it. Differences being made all over the place. And Katrina.
Yeah, I've got a similar one to Lisa, actually, one of our licensees, in the persistence that she went through to continue to implement the system. And she'd turn up to a lot of our support calls and just be a sponge and listen in and ask questions. And those incremental changes, like every now and then, it's just like, oh, this is overwhelming. There's a lot to do. I'm so busy. I've got to work weekends, or I'm, constantly working a lot of hours. How do I do this? But it's and it was months, in the incremental activity of her and her staff in doing the work. And now she's going, I finish at 5 o'clock. I have my weekends off. She's forever grateful of putting the system in, and it's and forever thankful. She still turns up to support calls and helps others and make contribution and still learns more. But it is heartwarming to hear that making changes to your own business can make a difference to your own life.
So true. So true. I love that one. I'm going to share one that I love this one. Nancy Gwynn Vaughn, she's been on the podcast several times. She's a close friend of mine, a pure bookkeeping licensee as well. And she had some challenges with staffing this year. And, it was like, oh, this didn't work out with one of her staff members. And she's like, I need to get back and hiring. And so it was like, I spoke to her about it. And a couple of weeks after that, I called her up and she's like, I've hired somebody. I'm like, oh, wow. It's like, that was pretty fast. She goes, well, I have the system. She has the system that she's developed, and put into place through the peer bookkeeping system and some tweaks of her own. And it was just like 150 applications, but all the little pieces of the system put into place very quickly and in relatively no time. And she's a very busy person, just like all of you and everyone listening right now. How do you carve out time to sift through and find someone to work in your business? And so that was a recent one that came up where I'm just like, wow, the power of system. It's like she didn't have to think how to do it. It was just pull out the system, execute on it, and away you go. And so now she has someone really valuable in her business, and that person has a great place to work. We forget often that not only are we helping all sorts of businesses out there be better at their work, but we're also building our own. All of you have built your business. You're providing an income to people. When you build a business and scale a business, you're putting food on their family's table. And that's an honorable thing to do. And it's great for all of you, and it's great for them, and it's great for our communities and their families, right? So those are the ones I love hearing about. Now, we've talked a little bit about heartbreak already. It is a question that I always ask. What was that thing? It's like, we've had a little bit of that already in Setbacks. So if there was anything specific that you wanted to share, please, I'll open it up for that. Otherwise, we'll pass on that and go to the more positive stuff. But any
I'd like
heartbreaks
to add to that.
Okay,
I'll add to
please.
that just because it kind of ties on to what we've been talking about. So on the flip side, I had another member who was just starting with pure bookkeeping implementation. She had gone through my masterclass several times, and she was all in for mastermind, got started with everything, and was really excited, had carved out the time and, was moving forward with this group. And her mom had a bunch of issues that were really, really bad, to the point where it started to affect this person's mental health. So they contacted me after sitting down with, I think it was her husband and her son, and they said, you need to stop everything right now. And the reason why I find that heartbreaking is because she was so ready to do what she needed to do for her business. You can imagine her disappointment. Not only is she worried about her mom, she's having issues now with mental health, and she doesn't get to achieve the goal that she set out to do. She will down the road, but it's got to be really heartbreaking for her to have to go through this at this point.
Absolutely. And yeah, anyone who faces that, it's a setback. It's heartbreaking. And for those of us that help people, it's one of those things you can't do anything about it other than just be there to support them in any way that you can and let them go through. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa, for sharing that. Any other heartbreaks that anyone wants to mention?
There's lots, but let's stay
There's
positive.
lots, but I think we're going to move that. I think I said this last year. I think that question needs to go before the good stuff. Because
Yes.
like,
Down and then up.
I got high on the heartwarming stuff. Let's just, we've heard enough of the downer stuff. So let's talk about what has generated the results for you. So the number one results generating strategy of 2024, what did you do that helped you grow your business or made a difference for you this year that maybe you haven't done in the past or is new, or it could be something that just works every year? Love to hear it.
For me, what works every year is that content strategy and to not slack off on the admin stuff that's uncomfortable. And I am specifically thinking of raising prices on our clients every year because we dread it and it's so easy to procrastinate on it. But both of those things are key and integral when I look at my KPIs. Without those two things, I will not be where I am right now.
Yeah, good point. And I imagine that's a big one for our listener. That's a good one to put off. We hear about it all the time, putting off putting up prices or figuring out how to do it well or how to do something around pricing. But that's a massive results generating strategy that someone can take that'll make a massive impact almost immediately to their finances.
I have two.
Okay, let's hear.
So the first one is actually, it lines up with what Jessica says. So one thing I implemented at the beginning of 2024 is I created a new quarterly job for all of our bookkeepers to do, and it is a scope creep job. So it automatically populates and asks the bookkeeper to check the scope of the agreement with what they're actually doing
Interesting.
to make sure that things don't just keep going all year. And then I find out that, oh, my bookkeeper has been actually doing all this additional work that the client has not been charged for. And I have found that scope job has made sure that those agreements are getting changed as things are changing. So I am doing a lot more agreements, but we're also not doing an entire year of out of scope work. We're catching it within 3 months. So it's quarterly, it's very detailed. The steps are there for them in the workflow. We have it set up in Pure Workflow, and it just populates and tells them what to check and what to do and how to contact me to tell me what I need to do. So I've been doing a lot more agreements, but our clients are paying what they should for the work that we're doing. So that one has been really, really helpful. And then the second one is this year we hired someone to handle marketing and social media for us. So we got videos being edited and all kinds of stuff going out on social media, which I've always wanted to do, but never had the time. So it was like one post here, one post here. Now we have a social media calendar. We have all the stuff's going out, and I'm not personally having to do it. It's beautiful.
Amazing.
I love it.
Beautiful. That's fantastic. And I'll look forward to hearing an update on how those are all working out for you and the things that work out. It's great. Result strategy from Katrina, Lisa.
Sure. So I'm not going to talk from the place of my firm because that's running well. I'm not really doing too much over there because I've shifted my focus. I'm now working with probably just over 1,000 bookkeepers to help their businesses get better, right? So I'm going to talk about the strategy that I think really worked for our team, Successful Bookkeeper Global, and we owe it to our production team. Our production team did an entire rewrite of the whole Pure Bookkeeping system. It's now put into Pure Workflow directly, like there's no putting anything anywhere. And what was very successful for me was going back through the new rewrite, literally like a new licensee. I've been using the system for 10 years. More than that, I think. And to go back and see what they're implementing now with this new rewrite was very eye-opening. Katrina, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Very eye-opening to be able to go in and see how this new stuff is working, how super simple and efficient it is, and then to be able to create it's basically a challenge, an implementation challenge, where Katrina and her team and me and my team can actually walk them through step by step how to get this done in the most efficient way. I think it's the most incredible iteration of the system I've ever seen. So I think that was a great strategy to focus on all that.
I love it. I love it. It brings me back to the mission of Pure Bookkeeping, which is to help great bookkeepers grow their business. And so when we help great bookkeepers grow their business, that growth is helping many, many, many more small businesses out there. Always warms my heart that that's happening. But it's that whole piece of essentially liberating owners in bookkeeping firms to build system-driven businesses in their business such that they can have that growth, right? And so now it's just another step in the direction of having it be easier to do. It's hard to get rid of completely everything, right? It's not like you just throw the bread into the toaster and pop it out and put some peanut butter and bananas on it and away you go. It's a little more involved, but it's at a place where in a short period of time, I've seen people go from no systems to systems in literally weeks, which is, been at this now for a decent amount of time. Pure Bookkeeping started in 2009, right? So we're approaching the 20-year mark. It's probably 15 or something like that. I don't know. Math's not my strength here. But to see people, I mean, I'm such a fan of Michael Gerber, system-driven businesses, and to see it actually at the point where people they want to build systems in their business. It could literally take years to do, years, and hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment to do it in any particular business. If you're going from nothing to a fully system-driven business, to see it happening now for bookkeepers, where it's like they can sign up and be systematized in weeks. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And Michael Gerber's probably doing high fives all over the place out there somewhere. So thank you for that one. That's a heart warmer, and definitely some great results for others that are in our community. So thank you. Katrina, any results generating strategies that you want to mention?
Yeah, well, I think playing into all of that conversation is following leaders in your community, in the bookkeeping industry, following bookkeepers that you admire, following businesses that are running successful bookkeeping businesses that you want to aspire to. Following these people, finding out what they are doing, looking at their strategies that they're putting into place, whether it is the marketing or promotional stuff, or it's the systemizing, it's the everything about what they are doing inside of their business, and also in their mindset, in the strength of them as a leader of their business. Listening to them, following them, finding out what they are doing, just having a look around and getting inspired. And I think that's one of the strategies, which is quite simple to do, is just get inspired by others.
Absolutely. It's a quote I share on very many podcasts, which is, you are, how does it go now? My goodness, I'm gonna lose it here. You'll be the same person. No, I don't have to Google it. This is like this is the quote.
Is it hang around with the
Probably
five
cringing in
people
your car seat or wherever you are listening to this podcast, walking down a path with the earbuds in your ear, going, "Come on, Michael." I will look it up and get back to you. But basically, the gist. How about I give you the gist of it? The gist is that it's the people you surround yourself and the content you consume. They say books, but in this digital world, it's like podcasts, books, meetings you go to, webinars that you attend. It's all that people and the content that you consume. It's what shapes you. That's who you'll be in 3 years. It's where it comes from. So having great mentors, surrounding yourself with people that are doing the things you want to do. If you want to be that person, go put yourself around the people that have what you have. And that is a absolute undervalued, underutilized success strategy of just getting with people who are already successful. And of course, you got to show up with the attitude and all that good stuff. Otherwise, they're not going to want you to be around them. But that is an absolutely fantastic strategy. So thank you. Let's jump over to failures. Anything that you did in 2024 that you want to do better next time, or you think, hey, this could work better, but I didn't get it done. Anything along those lines that happened in 2024?
Sure, I can.
Go ahead. Yes, please do.
If you like. And it is not a failed strategy, but it was definitely a strategy that failed along the way to success. So this year, we made a decision to reorganize how we do things. Up until this year, we had bookkeepers, and every bookkeeper was 100% responsible for their clients. So they did full circle, beginning to end. They each had their own group of clients. But this year, we really wanted to position ourselves for more growth. So what we did is we created client managers and bookkeepers, and we actually split the work. between what the bookkeepers did and what the client managers would do. And we took our top people who are all certified professional bookkeepers and who have 15 plus years experience, and we elevated them to handle the harder stuff, especially around e-commerce and taxation and the kind of the harder things that our larger clients do. And then our bookkeepers focused more on the day-to-day work. We believed that this was going to be a very quick and easy transition. We did not realize just how hard it was going to be to make those splits. And we went into it thinking it would take us about 3 months to complete the transition, and we are still transitioning.
Mm.
And it has taken us a lot longer than we expected. And I've learned a lot about making that kind of a shift in your business. I know there's a lot more to it now that than we thought. We really honestly thought, okay, we'll split the workflows. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. And a little bit of education between the bookkeepers and the CMs. And it actually was a lot more challenging than we anticipated. We're almost there now, but there was a lot of heartache through, I'd say, the last 4 months as the team tried to grapple with that kind of a transition. It was a lot more than we thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Didn't
Well,
fail, but it felt like a failure like quite a bit in the
Yes,
last
lots of
number of
learnings by
months
the
as
sound
we
of
did
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to hearing an update on that and hope that it goes well and it's your success story for 2025. Failed strategies.
I'm working with a bookkeeper at the moment, mentoring. She's wanting to put staff on. She's working 70 hours a week. She already has staff, but she's trying to work out what is the right staff. And as you start to drill down and analyze your own business or anybody's business, you have a look at what you're dealing with. Like for her, she had a lot of quarterly clients, and we know that they take up a lot of time and energy at the wrong time. So we're very deadline driven. So to have a lot of work at the same time doesn't really help you. And she's the one that, did all of the work. She was holding on to a lot of the compliance stuff, which, she didn't share. Doing a lot of the admin work. So she's thinking that she needs to do all of this. So when you drill down into your own business and have a look at what's going on and reviewing, I think a lot of people don't actually review their own business regularly enough. They just continue to take the work on, continue to keep busy, get busier and busier, and don't have a plan around what their strategy is. So for her, it's just having that conversation. Why are we doing this? What could we do better? And just having that time to actually think about what it is that I want to do, where do I want to go, and then thinking about what do I need to get rid of in my business to be able to take me to the next level as well.
Great one. And a great time to do it right now. It's the close of the year and the start of a new one. Great exercise to take on. Failed strategy. Lisa, do you have anything for this? Or actually, Jessica had one.
So for me, my biggest failure was trying to implement a strategy that was not needed. Last year, I moved to a long distance, completely different state, went from a very large city to a very small town. The business environment is very different, and I thought that I needed to show up to the in-person events and join the Chamber of Commerce and because it's a very small town mentality where everything's done on a handshake and it's a lot more informal. And it's not that I regret doing it, but in hindsight, I did not need to do that. I grew my business 100% virtually. It's still growing. I was not needing to get the local clients. I did become aware that my elevator pitch does not resonate to an in-person, face-to-face environment. So that needed revamping. And then I look back at the time that I spent and I was like, I have a waiting list It's not like I needed to go out and seek local clients when I have a waiting list of business owners throughout the entire country. So I hope that that just inspires anybody that may feel like, oh, this is the next logical step. Stop and evaluate. Is it really necessary at this point in the business journey? And if you do have that need for growth and you do have that desire to build those relationships, by all means, go for it, but do not feel an obligation to tack it on immediately.
Ah, yes, lovely. Yes, it's often people often talk so much about growth or, you have to do these things, but sometimes growth can be just more problems, right? It's until you fix some of the other things in your business, the last thing you want is growth. In fact, what can be the best thing for you is having extra capacity. So implementing systems gives you back capacity. If you fill all of that up right away with a whole bunch of other things, it blocks off the time to continue that growth and to figure out different parts of your business. So I love that one. Not only failed potentially, it's a real great opportunity to think about right now in the business as that evaluation, and maybe finding the time in your business to have that capacity to think more about your business and work more on it. So we're going to jump now to, unless, Lisa, you had any.
I did have one.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, it kind of ties into what Katrina was talking about and well, everybody in general, but it's not my failed strategy, but I see it over and over and over again. So I think it's worth mentioning. The people, when they identify what the issue is in their business that they want to fix, they've got to stop trying to find the quick fix. The $29 answer that you see online. Absolutely, I say it all the time. If you want to do something, find someone who's done what you want to do and learn from them. Exactly what Katrina was saying. And so rather than wasting your time, it's a super failing strategy. Stop trying to get all the quick little answers online and actually go work with somebody who's done what you want to do and just learn. It's a great way to save all that headache.
Absolutely. Direct path. And it comes back to, I did look up the quote. And so it's a little bit apropos with that. So I'm going to.
You did a great job on it, though. I knew that was the quote you were looking for.
Yeah, I think I summed it up good, but I will give the exact one. You will be the same person in 5 years as you are today, except for the people you meet and the books you read. And that's Charlie Tremendous Jones. And I've said it a million times on this podcast, but yet it just sort of blank. So there you go. So we have another question was going to be, number one, never do again. And again, it's kind of, I think we've answered it a little bit there, but if anything pops up where you want to, I'm never doing that again, I'd love to hear from it. But I'm going to go to the next question. You can pull that one back if you grab the mic here, which is trends. What were the big trends of 2024? And then what do you see happening in 2025 as being some of the big trends for 2025? Yes, Lisa.
So here's what I've noticed. With the shift in workflow software, for example, years ago, it was new. We need a workflow software, right? And so people start building out workflow softwares, testing them. Now it's to the point where there are so many of them to choose from. And people don't understand what they need, especially when you're new and you're trying to systemize, you're listening to everybody else. And, you think, okay, I just need a workflow software. It's going to solve all my problems and my business will be set. I find now people are getting more picky. And this to me is a trend. It's like they're getting more picky about which software they use because they need more than just checklists. People are starting to realize, okay, I can have checklists and I'll remember to do X, Y, Z, that sort of thing. But they are realizing that there's much, much more to running a business, owning a business, and being able to step away from a business than checklists. So I think the trend I see is that people are getting more selective. They're looking for more. They know that, okay, I'm going to spend this time doing this, and it's just basic checklists. Now I have to write manuals. Now I have to write SOPs. I have to create videos. I have to learn how to hire, all of these other things. And the reason I mention that is because we've had a lot of people coming to us lately because they realize that it's a Pixie platform, so we call it Pure Workflow. So it's pure bookkeeping system powered by Pixie. It's a workflow software designed for bookkeepers, and it's got everything. It's got your checklist. Yes. It's got your processes. It's got the links to your folders, the naming conventions. It's got direct links within each task into each client or each of the instructions, visuals, whatever it is you need to know. So, the feedback we're getting is like, this is a system. Now I can walk away. And they do come back later and go, I took 6 months off and went to Italy or something like you're actually seeing the results. So the trend I see for sure is people getting more knowledgeable about what they're purchasing, and then also what they still need to build out. So good on you guys.
I love it.
Finding that.
It's one of the things I love hearing about is when people we work with take more vacations, and that is helping you build better. People, I have that on my LinkedIn, and I still might, but people thought I was a travel agent. No, I just help. I'm up to helping people take more vacations. I don't plan the vacations. I don't, I do the more important role. I help travel agents build their business. That's what we do here. But anyway, that's a good one. And I love it, and always love seeing people embrace systems and process and, build a more streamlined business that literally runs itself. And that's liberating and good for everybody involved. 2024 trends. What do you see in 25? Katrina, I think you had the hand up first before Teresa, so we'll give it to you. Thank you. I love this. It's like everybody's getting it. It's like popcorn, bang, bang, fighting for the mic. This is beautiful.
In Australia, the biggest industry trend that's going on at the moment is the quality management systems that bookkeepers have to have implemented by the 1st of July next year. It came out, a government, an assistant treasurer made it law that bookkeepers had to have this quality management system. Of course, all of the bookkeeping institutes went in to fight for us that, well, we can't have it done in 2 weeks. They gave us 2 weeks to implement these systems. So, of course, now we've got it out to the 1st of July. But it is exactly that, it's putting in place, sorry, my dog just barked. It's putting in place the manuals, not just checklists, not just how to do the work, but actually the instructions. Because if you were to, and the whole reason is, like, it has a bit of a history in it, I won't go into the detail, but the whole reason is if you were to fall off the perch, somebody else has to be able to come in and know what to do and how to do it and find all of the information. So it's not just the checklist of how to do it, but it's the instructions, it's the manuals, it's all of the information that's required for somebody else to pop in and start doing that work. So it becomes like an insurance thing, mitigating risk. So it's all very political and very legit, legislative. But it's for the strength of your business as well. You are building out a bigger business or a better business by putting all of these systems in place. So it sort of makes sense, and you've got 6 months to do it.
Wow, that's huge. And remarkable that, it's one of those, we talk about systems and process and how important they are. This, your government has said it's important, and it's law to build a system-driven business that has documentation and processes in place for succession if need be. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a whole, as that rolls out, I'm sure we'll have an episode on that just to talk about it and how it's coming. And so an interesting one. Let's go over to you, Teresa, trends of 24 and 25. What's coming in 25?
Sure. So the trends, I've got two. One, and I think it's just expanding from last year, is definitely this year was the use of AI in pretty much everything. It's starting to become just another tool that people accept and use in their business. 2023, it was new, and the early adopters were in there, 2022, 2023, but I saw it becoming this year much more common, and people are much more accepting of it and using it and utilizing it to save time, do better work, to solve problems. So I definitely over this year saw a trend to it just being another tool we all have in our toolbox. And then the other thing that I've noticed this year, and I think it's going to continue to expand in 2024, is when I'm talking to younger business owners, they seem to have a much deeper understanding of the importance of hiring professionals to help them. When I'm talking to them, a lot of them, not only are they hiring a bookkeeper, they're hiring an expert, in marketing, they're hiring a product, and they seem, at least this is what I'm seeing, these younger business owners, maybe I'm dating myself, they seem to have got that handle more, where I would say my generation, it was all we wore all the hats, we did all the things, we had to figure it all out, and it was all on us, and that's what we believed, that's what we were raised to believe, and that if we had to bring in other people, it was a failure of ours. What I'm seeing in the younger, smarter generation, I'm very hopeful for our future with these young adults. They get it. They understand they don't have all the answers, and that they expect and want to bring in experts to supplement them. That's what I've been seeing, and very surprisingly and very excited, because they seem to get the value of bookkeeping and having that trusted partner working with them who can handle the financial side of things that may not be their expertise. So I'm very hopeful that that trend continues to grow over the coming years.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, it's a very interesting. I
you
look
guys
forward to
seeing that?
seeing more of it. Yeah. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I'm not-
Yeah.
definitely. I've heard of a few things about it, and I think it's a natural thing to see with what happened with COVID, and people started working from home. A really big shift from corporate into like small business, and you would have been like in a corporate job, you don't do everything. It's like you don't even know what else goes on. So it's like, and also the global marketplace of talent through like Upwork and different, there's so many of them now, to be able to just hire out. I think it's like a menu. It's like, let's go to McDonald's and okay, I'll have a bit of that and a bit of this for my business, right? So it's really a perfect storm that's enabling people to start out in a different way and not be the jack of all trades in their business that we probably all grew up with watching our parents or family members do in their businesses. Other trends, Jessica, did you have one that you wanted to share?
Related to what Teresa says, the evolution of AI, there has been a mindset shift going away from fear of the robots are coming and they're taking away our jobs, to the models are evolving and the application possibilities are becoming practically endless, stuff that people didn't think AI could help with, and is becoming more accepted, more optimistic. And that is triggering a very positive shift in our industry, where I'm noticing a lot less resistance towards value pricing, and even new bookkeepers wanting to value price from day one, or at least fixed rate rather than hourly, because they realize that if they're charging by the hour, they have no incentive to become more efficient and systemized, because then they do the work faster, they make less money, and they have a revenue ceiling that is very difficult to overcome. And when people are now adopting these tools, they realize that by value pricing, they're freeing so much. They're able to get so much more done. And the client is just happy. Everybody wins. Everybody is profitable. So I am very encouraged by that, because I felt like in previous years, I work with a lot of bookkeepers that are brand new to the industry. They don't have a client, or perhaps they just got their first client. And the the mindset was completely different. It's shifting in a very positive direction.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, there's been some very interesting ones, and we want to talk now a little bit. It's just to end it off is, what's happening for you? What's your focus and vision for 2025? And we'll start with Katrina.
Really drill down on the support that we can give bookkeepers and help them implement these systems. Like we've got to do it quite quickly for compliance. So being able to, provide them with, what they need, the understanding, the importance, and just being there for them for that support.
Beautiful. How about you, Lisa?
I think for me, it's greater reach. Because we've had a lot of success in North America. We've been running the A2A program we figured out 5.5 years. And I've seen what people do when they go through that and what they've created as a result of doing pretty much everything we've talked about here today. And I see them building things that are literally, like Jessica said, limitless. It's just, I think it was Jessica that said that, but just limitless in what they're creating. So if I can have more reach to help more bookkeepers do more of that would be a thing of beauty.
Beautiful. Jessica.
So for me, I'm just chugging along, continuing the things that are already giving results, because I already know that I can go on vacation and the business runs for itself. I am committed to helping others do that, because they come to me all jealous, but it's like, why not you? So my goal is to continue inspiring people into the new year. It's like, it's not a pipe dream. It's just a matter of take action. Stop with the procrastination, stop with the excuses, and take the steps.
Beautiful. Absolutely. And Teresa.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as you know, we have two different sides to our firm. One is our bookkeeping firm, where we have clients all across Canada. We serve e-commerce. And the other half is a training academy to teach bookkeepers how to be exceptional at e-commerce, because it is challenging. And we have goals on both sides. On the bookkeeping side, our big goal is really trying to focus in on a couple of things. Deepening our understanding of who our ideal client is, to make sure that the clients we are bringing in are the kinds of people we really do want to work with. And I just did a whole process with my team and had them all evaluate on a scale, on a whole bunch of factors, and tell me why this was a great client or why this wasn't a great client. So really trying to understand what are the things that are bringing in clients that just may not be a good fit for the kind of work that we do. So that is an area we're really working on, and really redefining our service offering to focus in on what matters most to a business owner, right? So we want to bring in we're doing more advisory work. We're pulling back on some stuff that we've been doing that really is not leading to success and is causing lots of stress on the team. And then on the academy side, with our brand new marketing strategy and our person that's getting stuff out there for us, we are already starting to see more growth. And really, for me, my goal is I don't want a bookkeeper to fail at this. This is hard work. And if I can teach them how to do this quickly, efficiently, e-commerce is an incredible niche to be in and is quite profitable. And you can charge higher fees for this expertise. And I want bookkeepers to make great money, have amazing clients, and have all the skills they need to succeed. And that, to me, it's like my passion project, is how can we help more bookkeepers have the life that they want, working with great clients that value and appreciate them. So we have big growth goals on both sides.
Beautiful. That's super exciting. Absolutely love it. Thank you to all of you for being on the show. From our listener, thank you for your generosity. Again, coming on this recap of the year show. We've had Lisa, Teresa, Katrina, and Jessica. Thank you. And we'll have a big year ahead for you, listener, at the Successful Bookkeeper community. We have Summit 2025 in the fall. We have another event, surprise event that's going to come in the middle of the year, which I'm super excited about in the month of June, May or June, which we're planning now, and a whole bunch of other great things to come for you from the Successful Bookkeeper community. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. We look forward to being with you in 2025. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guests and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye and Happy New Year.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.